doing? My name is Henry Holmes, and this is the first episode of my long-awaited podcast, Fast Forward Future. And I am here with my close friend and confidant, Mr. Devric Taylor.
What up, what up?
What's
up?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Today?
How are you?
I'm doing, bro. I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, I think we at that age where it's appropriate to say stuff like that.
Like what?
I'm doing, man.
Yeah, I'm doing.
I'm doing.
How's it is going?
It's to living the dream. So today's episode is once again it's the first episode. Today's episode is going to be about nostalgia. Right.
Yeah.
And the title of the episode is In Retrospect.
Yes.
Why, Mr. Taylor, why? Could you tell me why we picked that name?
I say we picked the name because there is a deeper reason why we picked the name, but like I think what it encapsulates is really, being able to see, maybe what got us here, being able to see how things looked in hindsight, those types of things. And also it was the name of the first fucking band that we ever were in.
Should have been the name that we had.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
In hindsight. That would have been a good one. But in retrospect, yeah, it's good to kind of look at things and look what happened.
Yeah. The whole purpose of this podcast is for it to be music conversation. One thing I like is I like when things just kind of flow. So that's what we're gonna try to do that here today. So Mr. Taylor, the first question I wanted to ask you. I want you to talk about music too, musical influences.
Yeah.
But along with some of those musical influences that you had growing up and as a youth, I want to know who or what were some of the biggest influences on you in your youth outside of the music and being a musician. Like what people had, would you say, profound influence?
That's a good question. Who had profound influence? There's two people that I can think of.
All right.
That more or less helped me kind of shape where I was going to go. Like as far as like wanting to be a musician or like play music in order to do, kind of speak out how I was feeling. One of them is my brother-in-law Corey. Huge influence on me.
Okay.
Whenever he started dating my sister, I was probably like 12 or 13 whenever they started dating, and then they got married that same year. And like in the time span that they started dating to the time they got married, man, he showed me a lot of stuff.
Did I ever meet Corey? I don't
know if you've ever met Corey. I don't know if you've ever met my oldest sister.
No, I've heard you talk.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met.
But yeah, he was a huge influence on me, showing me a bunch of bands, and it kind of got me into listening to music, like other than what I was listening to at the time, which I do remember all of that. But like, get me into all that kind of stuff. And the other person, musically, I don't want to say it because I don't. It's you. I don't want to say.
Damn,
I didn't want to say it.
Like,
I don't want to say it as like. If I'm talking about early people that got me into music, it was you. It was influence you and Corey.
It's crazy. Excuse me.
Look at him.
I'm not cutting that out. Funny you say that, because when I talk about some of my earliest influences as far as being a musician goes and playing music, I was actually going to say that you were one of my biggest influences. I would say on top of that, most people would say their parents, and like to a certain extent, my parents did play a role in me being a musician and me loving music and wanting to play music and also just shaping who I am as a person. But my parents didn't really introduce me to music like most people's parents would, like I can't remember a time where me and my mom, for instance, would like sit and like listen to music or talk about music.
Yeah.
My earliest memory was actually as a kid I hated music. As crazy as that sounds. I was the church drummer, but that was only because it was something to do.
Yeah.
My sis, I grew up in a house full of women, my sister and my cousins, and they would listen to what was hot on the radio at the time, which is a lot of Calling Tyrone, man. Like,
yeah.
And I got sick of that song, and it got to a certain point where as a kid, like they'd play music and I'd be like, turn it off. And I was bad. I was very bad. But I grew up playing music in church. My first introduction to like any music really outside of church was my mom had a Thriller vinyl.
Oh,
a Thriller vinyl, and I would dance. I would dance around the house with that vinyl. It was like my thing. Me and the broom, and the broom was my microphone, and I was a hot boy.
Yeah.
And then Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4.
Yes.
Introduced me to a lot of music. And then it just kind of opened up from there. And I would say the two first albums that I got also played a big role. First one was Monkey Business.
Oh, by Black
Eyed Peas.
So wait, before you get into that, are you saying that me and Tony Hawk were your two musical influences?
Tony Hawk was first.
Tony Hawk and then me.
Yeah. Because I would say you and Rock Band kind of came
around the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like the whole base of what I listen to now is kind of based on Rock Band.
Yeah.
A lot of which
yeah.
Like, dude, like it was good music. Like they picked some of the hottest tracks for that game, and
yeah, I mean, like,
I
mean, to get back into your first album story, but like to kind of like to kind of bridge the gap in between, like, yeah, Tony Hawk, huge influence. I mean, I was a big skateboarding kid and loved that kind of stuff and played the games, loved playing the games, and just had a really good time, like, listening to the music while playing. Because, I mean, music is such a big part of gaming, especially at that time. So, like, it's a huge part of gaming. And, all the games, and it's funny that you brought up Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, because that's, like, probably my favorite Tony Hawk game of all time. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 was, like, that was the soundtrack on that game, the way that I had it kind of set up, in a mixture of, at the time I started playing it, I mostly listened to hip-hop music. So, like, it was more hip-hop than anything, but, like,
well, that for me, that was the first time I realized, like, man, white people listen to hip hop.
Yeah, and also, like, if you think of that, I was gonna say the first game, but that game in particular, they had a System of a Down song on there, so that was the first time I had heard of that band. So, like, that's good. But go back to your album story, because you said Black Eyed Peas, Monkey Business, and what else?
Demon Days.
By Gorillaz?
By Gorillaz.
Yes. That lines up perfectly.
Hot.
Both the same year.
I thought Demon Days was 05 and Monkey Business 04.
No, Elephunk was 03. Okay. Elephunk was 03, Monkey Business 05.
Yeah, two hot albums. Black Eyed Peas went downhill personally.
Yeah,
like in my personal opinion. Like, I know a lot of people still like them. Nobody get mad at me for saying this. I don't care. I don't give a shit if you get mad at me for saying this. I think Fergie ruined the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, totally.
And I think it was that the fact that they felt like they needed a sex symbol to make that band whole kind of ruined the grassroots aesthetic that they had.
They had a woman in the band early on.
What was their original name? It was something Tribe.
Oh, I know this.
Hold on.
I know this.
We're gonna do some research right quick.
Oh, dude, I know
Black
this.
Eyed Peas original name. Something Tribe. Black Eyed Peas' original name was ATBAN, which that means something. It means something. Let's see.
It's been forever since I dug into
Yeah. So it was called Tribal Nation at first, which makes sense.
They were huge. They were hugely influenced by Tribe Called Quest.
Like us, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to be in '95. It says they became Black Eyed Pods, which sounds dumb.
Like you hear those
That
bands
sounds dumb.
like that got close to what their name was going to become, and it's like, why wasn't the eventual name the first
thing that came to
Black
mind.
Eyed Pods? Like it's like I'm truly trying to get away from the Black Eyed Peas.
Like you just don't want to be Black Eyed Peas with some. But yeah, no. That was probably the second album that I got. And like I listened to it on repeat religiously. With my little CD player.
Mm-hmm.
Had to hold it in the car a certain way.
Yeah, so
you hit a bump.
Yeah,
got to put that suspension on it.
It wouldn't skip.
But yeah, man. Cool. Let's do a song, man. Let's do a song.
Okay, you want to do a song this early?
Sure. Why not, man?
Yeah,
we got some time. I think.
I felt like we could have.
We could make something happen.
You can make something happen.
Make something happen.
Yeah, make something happen.
Let's see. I wanted to do a song.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna mess this up really, really bad, and that's okay. I think that's okay.
It's real.
It's real, raw, to the point, in the cut, all day, every day,
ripping the knob off.
So we're gonna try to do this song.
Okay.
I think I chose this song because as a child, as a kid in school and whatever, I always felt, I'm not going to say different because that sounds, it's too generic, I think, of a statement to make. Oh, I felt different. Everybody felt different. I will say that I saw things in ways differently from other people.
Yeah.
And I think that by the time I ended up in Abbeville, I had experienced a lot of different things than a lot of other people.
Very original. You're an original. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So in a lot of ways, I just kind of sometimes I felt like I was not like an outcast, but like almost like I was from a different planet at times. As crazy as that sounds. And like even to this day, that's something I still kind of struggle with. I am a high school teacher, a band director, and people ask me like, who you work with? I don't know. I don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Adult interaction makes me very uncomfortable. And to a certain extent, that's my fault. But also, no offense to any adults out there, but you start to realize that as people get older, to a certain extent, they get dumber. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they choose not to have that childlike wonder anymore, that curiosity.
And also too, like a lot of adults get to this point where they like, oh, I've experienced so much. I can't be told that, nor like there's nothing that I can learn, or there's nothing that you can tell me that I don't already know.
Yeah. That's a true mark of stupidity.
Right, and that's just kind of stuff I deal with, on a daily basis. So, I'm gonna try this song. I've sang it before. Disclaimer: I am not a vocalist. I'm not a great singer. I'm doing it for love, out of love, because I love this. So,
love singing.
So if it's bad, y'all cut me some slack, man. And if it's good, let me know. And if anybody wants to help me out with my singing, or give me some tips and pointers, I'm very open to criticism. We trying to grow. So here we go. Subterranean, Homesick Alien, one of my favorite tunes. That's the G, C minor thing. forgetting the smell of the warm summer air. I live in a town where you can't smell a thing. You watch your feet for cracks in the pavement. High up above, aliens hover, making home movies for the folks back at home. All these weird creatures who lock up their spirits, drill holes in themselves, and live for their secrets. They're all uptight. They're all uptight. You good? This is my favorite part. I wish they'd swoop down in a country lane late at night when I'm driving. Take me on board their beautiful ship. Show me the world as I love to see. Tell all my friends, but they never believe me. They think that I finally lost it completely. I'd show them the stars and the meaning of life, and they'd shut me away, but I'll be alright. They're all yeah, man.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a little rough, but we got it. So yeah, man. That's what the music's gonna be like. It's gonna be bad. So
I mean,
so y'all be ready for that. Y'all be ready for more of that. My untrained vocals. Homesick Subterranean Alien. So we went to see Radiohead.
yeah, we saw Radiohead in like 2017.
2017. How much were those tickets?
Not
They
expensive
were like
at all.
$11.
Yeah, we were in the nosebleeds, but it was awesome.
It was worth it. Hands down, one of the best shows I ever went to. Yeah.
Shout out to Jason Lee for taking my shift that day.
Jay Lee.
Jay Lee.
That's a good dude, man. We were supposed to go to a Rush concert.
Oh, don't even.
That's the crazy story.
I still don't want to talk about that.
I'm gonna talk about it. So at the time I worked at Blockbuster. We were supposed to go to this Rush concert.
I feel you worked at Burke's at the
But
time.
I was working at Burke at the time.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And we had bought the tickets, everything. We must have spent like almost $200 on them tickets.
God, it was
like
I think it was $60 a piece.
It was okay. It was yeah. But it was like a whole like half of a check for me at the time. I fixed my car up. I was driving a Honda 1997 Honda Accord LX at the time.
The red one, yeah.
Burgundy.
Where the speedometer did not work.
It worked.
No,
it just wasn't reliable. The AC did not work, but I figured out how to refill my Freon, so I did that for the trip.
We figured that out.
We had it all ready to go, bro. Like
Yes.
we was like, man, we going to New Orleans, and our stupid asses What did we do? What was the mistake that we had made?
First of all, I'm not the stupid ass. You are. If we're gonna keep it bean.
If we're gonna name call, I'm gonna take that one.
Okay, so
I was the stupid ass.
So what happened was that there was a guy that we knew that went to that show too. Henry,
Shouts out Tyler Beers.
Yeah, Henry Moore knew him, but we had it was on a Friday. We thought it was on a Saturday, and so I was on the couch. I had already taken off of work. I'm excited to go to the show or whatever.
I was at work.
You were at work. You had showed up. You showed up at the house.
It was like right after I got off.
And right after you got off, because you had texted me that I think the concert was tonight because Tyler had texted you where y'all at.
And I'm like.
And you're like, wait, what?
I'm at work, huh?
And then he checked the ticket, saw that it was that day instead of the next day, and came back. I was
hot.
And that night is probably more memorable than the show would have been.
Shit.
And do you remember that night? I do very clearly.
We gonna talk about that real quick. I'm not gonna say no names.
I will. No.
Long story short, we ended up hanging out with these two girls. And I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I was about to get some ass.
Yes.
Devric did not.
I was pissed off. I didn't want to. He didn't want to.
Yeah. He didn't even want to go hang out with them girls.
I did not. I had a girlfriend at the time.
Oh yeah, so I did because I was like, man, you're not about to ruin this for me.
Well, that was the thing. We had went to your house because under the guise of us just hanging out because we were pissed off that we didn't get to make it to the show, and I was in a very, very bad mood. And then he's like, let's go to Walmart. I'm like, all right. So we go to Walmart.
I don't remember that.
I do, boy, do I. We go to Walmart, and we're in Walmart for a while. We meet these girls on an aisle in Walmart, and I was like, son of a bitch. He came over here to see some girls. It's people we knew.
It's people we already knew.
I knew one of them, and he knew both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go, we get in the car, and I was like, dude, I just want to leave. So we get in the car, and mind you, I didn't have a car at this time, so I was relying on him. I had got my permit though. I had my permit, but that which lets me know I was 17 at the time. So we end up leaving Walmart, go back to his house. He must have told them to come meet us there. So they show up, and I'm like, why did you do this? Like, you knew I was upset. Why did you do this? So we get in the car with them, and this bitch can't drive. Like, remember? Like, she was trying to, like, back out, and it was a whole thing. Bitch couldn't drive.
We like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
no.
yeah, it's whatever. She was, like, come and visit from another state.
Cali.
Yeah. And so we go to McDonald's that day, and one of the girls had asked, I don't know if you remember this, they said, Devric, you used to be so nice. Now you hate me. She's like, why do you hate me? I was like, yes, I hate you. Like, I've been in the worst mood possible. And then they're like, let's go back to one of the girls' houses.
It was in the country.
And I'd never been. And
he didn't want to go.
And I'll tell you this. That I didn't want to go because I was uncomfortable and I was around two women. I had a girlfriend at the time. But I will say this. If my grandmother would have found out that
I told that ass
that I went with Henry to two girls' house, she would have lost her mind. She would have lost her mind. So we're on the way there. We get stopped. Like, we're at a stoplight right by a spot downtown Abbeville. Me and Henry make we look at each other. We make the call that we're gonna jump out of the car.
Yeah, because we had finally reached the point. Well, I had reached the point where I knew, like, there's no way.
There was no
way. Like, I knew I wasn't getting none from none of them. So I was like, all right, let's bail. And they stopped at a stop sign or a stoplight. It's by
the Concord Club.
Yes, in Abbeville. The second they stopped, because, like, honestly, like, at a certain point, we had realized that they weren't going to let us leave anyway. Because I think at one point, one of us had asked, like, can you just bring me back to my house?
And they were like, no.
And they were like, no.
Which in hindsight, in retrospect, in hindsight, they probably did want to do something.
You think so?
Yes, I very much do think they were, because if they weren't gonna let us leave and they were trying to go to set the scene again, they were trying to go like we were gonna go to their place, play, what was it, like ping pong or foosball or something, whatever they had over there, pool. We were gonna play pool, and they had beer or whatever, alcohol there, and I didn't.
He didn't drink at the time.
I
didn't really drink either.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't a drink. I was as like straight laced as you could be, and also terrified of my grandmother.
Oh, what?
So like I kept thinking of every way that this could go sideways, and I was just like, we're running. So we run, and they chased us. They chased us, and we ended up getting back to his house. We crossed like backyards. We went through like church parking lots. It was a whole thing. And we ended up getting back to his place, and they showed up, and like we kind of hid out for a little bit.
Yeah, and like the cool thing about my parents, which I can't sit up here and be like Teresa M and Michael D wasn't strict. They were, but there was just a lot of shit that I did and would do that they just didn't question.
No,
like my car was at home. And then us two stupid-looking dudes just running the house, sweating, terrified.
Never questioned it.
Never questioned like where y'all was, what y'all was doing. It was just like, oh, hey.
Just reckless abandon.
Yeah. Good times, man. And I'm thankful for the upbringing that I did have, because my parents, my mom especially, and I'm not going to say my dad didn't, but like my dad was there.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Michael Holmes, he's there. He exists. And like a lot of my friends didn't even think I had a dad.
I didn't think he had a dad.
No, nobody did.
Boy, did I get a fucking introduction, but
I want to say one of the first times Devric met my dad was when he was fussing at me.
Yep.
Over something stupid, and I think that was the first time I ever like called my dad out of his name. I called him a nigga. Like I forgot what he said. It pissed me off. I was like, "Can you get out, nigga?" Damn.
And he okay, Dumbo.
And he was like, "Okay, Dumbo."
Like he didn't do it. He's like, "Okay, Dumbo." Okay, Dumbo. Like I remember that. I was like, "What the hell?" And then like that's a whole thing. But
times, man.
But I think that you're mentioning early on, a lot of the times, just kind of sum up everything that we were talking about. We were talking about like these big musical moments within our life. Like your parents are very supportive of you doing that, especially in church.
We was practicing in the house till midnight, and they never complained.
They never complained. But like to go chronologically, so we're taking it from whenever you were talking about the first two albums that you bought, and you had Monkey Business and It was Monkey Business and what else? And Demon Days, which around that would have been 2005. We were in 7th grade, which would have actually which brought up like you're the one that taught me about house music, which was Gorillaz incorporated house music into the music, and he told me this whenever we were touring a prison. We were in 7th grade. We went to Angola in 7th grade, and he told me this while we were touring a prison, and I was like, "What, house music?" But I remember like my first musical memories as well was like the first two CDs that I can think of, 3 that I can think of were Rob Thomas, his solo album, Something to Be, and I only had one song that I liked on there, but my grandma said I could get a CD, so she bought that for me. It was Rob Thomas, it was Black Eyed Peas, Ella Funk, and it was Will Smith, Lost and Found.
Boy, you like you some Will Smith.
I loved Will Smith.
I will never understand.
I loved Will Smith. He had a song at the time called Switch, and I loved that song. And I that's the kind of music that I was listening to. And so like bringing like that type of thing, and also again, like my grandma was real strict, so there wasn't a whole lot of, couldn't listen to a whole lot of music with bad language or anything. And that growing up and getting into different types of music, because my brother-in-law kind of showed me a lot of music too around that same time. So this, like, that year, like 04, 05 was very, very, I think, very
It's pivotal.
It's pivotal. That's the word I was looking for. Very pivotal for both of us in that time frame. So you were talking about that album, those albums, Demon Days and Monkey Business. From that point on, pump it. What like?
My bad. Baby.
Oh, no. Hockey.
This man recorded a whole song
in Tagalog, and we learned it. So let's not pretend like we didn't. No, but like, so you take it from those two albums, how did that change you musically? Because you were already playing music, you were already a drummer. Yeah. So like, where did you go from there?
To you,
really,
nigga. Come on. The first band we were in together was.
Well, hold on. There was a few.
It was.
You might not remember this. I'm afraid I'm gonna say the wrong thing.
All right.
It was Daydreams and Nightmares.
I remember that. But
okay.
I was like, I was an addition to that project.
Yeah, you got and then we formed in Retrospect together.
Yes.
And then it was me, you, and Byron.
With a good friend of Yes.
And we had. So this would have been
in that trailer.
Between 2009 and 2010.
Let me tell y'all something.
So in late 2009. Well, let me back up. So I had this band.
Okay.
Because this is a good story to tell.
All right.
And we're talking about just musical upbringing. So I had this band that consisted of me and our friend Ethan. And I taught him how to play bass, and I played guitar. Well, I was a girl I was talking to at the time that knew a guy from around town that played music. So she's like, hey, I want to introduce you to this guy. He's very... he plays everything. And so I was like, all right, cool. I ended up talking on the phone. It was Byron. And I'm talking on the phone with Byron for like almost an hour on her phone and shit.
She said he played everything?
He played everything. That's what she That's what she said. She said he played everything. So I was like, all right, cool. So again, my grandma didn't really let me hang out with. I grew up Jehovah's Witness. Okay, I'm gonna just say that. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. My grandma would not let me. Jahonky Williams. I was not allowed to go hang out with anybody outside of my church. So,
but hey, she was cool with me.
She was cool with you and
which
cool
was
with Ethan.
Crazy.
Well, she was cool with you and cool with Ethan, and Ethan because Ethan was family.
I think it was because she knew my mom.
Yeah.
Because my mom was always your grandma worked at the newspaper.
Yeah,
and my mom, she was a teacher. And she was involved with Sunday school, and like she was always trying to get something in a newspaper. And at the time in Abbeville, if you want to be in a newspaper, you just go there.
Yeah, you just show up.
Like
you just show up.
Put this in there, and they'd be like, "All right." And his grandma was at the front desk, and that's just kind of how that.
Yeah, and she like being that familiarity, and like she knew who I was with. She knew his mom, so it was like
she knew we wasn't gonna let you do nothing crazy.
Yeah, and if something would pop off, she just know that like she'd just tell your mom about it. So like it was like, all right, cool. So we get didn't really know Byron. I don't think really like Byron, and I'd sneak in and out, and sometimes I'd get friends to bring me to Byron's house, and I would like me and Ethan, because Ethan had a vehicle, so me and Ethan would hang out together, and we'd go jam with Byron. And then one time, Byron tells me that, hey, just like, do you remember Henry Holmes? And I was like, yeah, I remember Henry, because we were friends. We hung out in the same groups in middle school, but by the time high school happened, we didn't really know each other.
Yeah.
And then he says, yeah, Henry, me and him played in a band together, and it was called Eyes on Egypt.
No!
Oh! Damn! I remember that.
Hey, bro, hold on. Let me say this. That was the most horrifically bad band that I was in. We dropped one song. Now guess what? Make lots and lots of money.
Now
guess what?
I'm trying to remember.
It was like 2 chords.
Yeah, but I might be in the wrong tuning. Whatever, I might be in the wrong.
It was in E because that's all we knew how to play.
So that was Eyes on Egypt, and I remember now. Guess what? And I'm not really loving that riff, but still thinking like hearing Henry's drumming, and I'm like, it was very.
It was the centerpiece of that recording.
Yeah, because it was just like, and I was like, it sounded like a real drummer. It didn't sound like some dude that just kind of played drums.
And what was crazy is that the 3 people in that group, it was me, Byron, and this guy named Drew Mellebeck.
Yes,
he was the vocalist.
Yes,
and I have a lot of respect for these guys. I don't talk to Drew. We ain't talking in years. But it was just crazy how we had all came from like such different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And had made a song, and that now we are all in like completely different places.
Yeah.
But it was a cool experience because that was like the first rock band I ever been in, and like that's what I wanted to do. And it was fun, but it led to us doing In Retrospect, which was something at the time that we probably shouldn't have been doing.
Well, I mean, at the time, whenever you had come into our like the project that we were doing, and then we kept doing that for a little bit, and then we got into the conversation because me and Ethan we would have these up and down type of relationships. So like at this point, it was this down period, and he didn't want to play music anymore, and so Byron still wanted to play, but me and Henry like started talking a lot, and we kind of got down to the influences that were really like a big deal for us at that time. And we decided to make a prog band or a version of that.
And that's why I said we shouldn't have been doing
it. Yeah, we tried to make a prog band, and it was everything that I wanted it to be because I was a huge fan of the band Coheed and Cambria. So like this was exactly where I wanted to go, and Henry could make anything sound cool as hell, and I was like, this sounds like real music, and I was terrible. Like, but you're like, I was the default.
I thought it was good because.
Well, I mean, I thought the music was good. I was not great, but
I thought you were good because I'd never been before in that band. I'd never heard anybody really play guitar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
well, and that I don't know if you remember this. That is you played a big part in that because going back to that year in 2009, I'll never forget this. Actually, I'll never forget this. So MySpace was a thing.
Ooh.
And I had the song
not in my top 8 no more, bitch.
You had the song. I had the song Transistor on my thing, and you had heard it, and you were like, "You're a 311 fan." I was like, "Oh yeah, I love 311." And then you were like, "Oh, let's talk more 311." And then you said, "Have you ever heard of the John Mayer Trio?" And I was like, nope. I know John Mayer, but I was like, I never heard the trio.
The trio was just so different.
Yeah,
bro.
You sent me all that. So you said, learn all these songs.
That's what I wanted.
You wanted me to learn "Freak Out" by 311. You wanted me to learn "Flowing" by 311. You want me to learn that. You wanted me to learn "Good Love Is on the Way." Who did you think I was?
Who did you think I was?
And what was that? Wait until tomorrow.
I better wait till tomorrow.
And also, like after that, like that "Where the Light Is" DVD that has, the trio section. Yeah. I listened to that. I wore that DVD out. I was obsessed with it.
And here's the thing: when you don't have preconceived notions about a musician or their music, it really opens you up to listening.
Yeah.
So at the time when I started listening to the John Mayer Trio, I was not fully aware of his solo stuff. I started listening to John Mayer solo stuff after the trio.
Oh wow!
His trio music is vastly superior, in my opinion, to his solo stuff. There is a lot of merit to it, but if I was to try to compare 2 albums, I pick Sob Rock and the trio album. No comparison. Like, no comparison to be made. Now, his older stuff, like Room for Squares,
Heavier Things,
great.
Which you told me to listen to. You also told me to learn later on Bigger Than My Body and New Deep.
Yes, because those are probably 2 of my favorite songs from that. So, yes, I am a John Mayer fan.
Same.
Not a secret.
Yeah, massive. And I think the only comparable thing to his trio stuff was Continuum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only comparable thing. But like, you know, us trying to play above our to try to play above our like ability at that time was I don't know, like it felt like I was like understanding what was going on.
Yeah.
And at this time, I don't know if you necessarily know this, but I was only playing guitar for almost 2 years.
2 years.
Almost 2 years. So it was a very like, you know, whenever you started showing me music and stuff, it was a very like fast like track to, you know, growing and being you know, a decent musician. But I want to jump ahead. So in Retrospect does a talent show on May 1st, 2010.
You remember the date?
I will never forget that date for as long as I remember. For as long as I'm alive, I will never forget that date. That is a very pivotal date for me. Very pivotal. But May 1st, 2010, we play this. Somebody's texting me. May 1st, we play this talent show. We were able to do something. First of all, we did not go to school at this particular place. And we were able to play a cover, and then they said that we can play during intermission. So while they were judging, we could play during intermission.
We did well. I thought we did well.
We did Cherub Rock by the Smashing Pumpkins.
Which, for at our age, that was hard.
Yes, very much. And I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Like, you're 16. No, you had just turned 17. Maybe. This has been May in 2010. Your birthday's in March.
Yeah, I don't
So
remember.
so you would have just turned 17, and I was on my way to being 18. But like we were still real young. Byron was older than us, and we were playing this song, and then we got to play an original song, which all of this is on YouTube. We got
really.
It
Where?
is on Byron's YouTube, and I'll share it with you.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, we it's on there, and you know we played this music, and we were so hype. And our friend Ethan came and supported us, and also, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember when Byron told us we'd get like $1,000 for winning the?
That boy lied. That boy lied, bro.
We got food tickets.
Yeah, I was hot. I was hot about that.
Yes,
because, without saying any names, the school we played at, they had bread.
Yeah, bread. And
They had bread. They could have
threw us one, and it was a popularity contest. But the fact, like, there's
the dude that won. Wasn't he the dude? He did a drum solo.
Yeah, he did. Like,
he played to a track.
Yeah, I can't remember what he played
and was none good. I was much better than him.
Yeah, and that dude's a doctor now, by the way.
He's still not better than me. that means fuck all to me.
Yeah, but you know he went to the school. Everybody knew him, and what I remember from that day is like we didn't go to school there. We impressed everyone there.
Yeah.
And we were like, that was the first time I was like, we could do this.
We came in second place.
And
they put our picture.
Okay, let me talk about that. So the picture of the newspaper thing. So I am riding this high. Byron borrowed the school's, not the school we were playing at, but our school's
the high school's bass.
But yeah, bass and amp. So what we were doing is that we were going to pack all our stuff up, and then we were going to go to our friend Ethan's house. Well, long story short, Byron was upset over something, and our first falling out as a band.
I think he was more upset at you than.
Yeah, he was upset at me because I had packed his stuff and he didn't understand what. Anyway, I had packed his stuff and I was like, you know what, I'm kind of tired of this. And he was going to the military at the time. And so what we decided to do was just like, you know what, we're going to form another band and we're going to go play at Ethan's house. And we did that and we formed our band, A Modern Myth.
Oh, yeah.
At the time.
We was hot boys.
And it was, again, very, like, it felt real. It felt like good music that we were making. That's right.
Yes.
It felt real, and it was awesome. But, okay, so the school that we played at was a Catholic school.
Oh, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. The school that we played at was a Catholic school. I said already, I grew up Jehovah's Witness. that did not vibe with the elders in the Jehovah's Witness
His grandmother
organization.
was.
Well, I had to tell on myself.
She was capital upset.
And I had to tell on myself because my grandma worked at the newspaper.
She knew.
And I had to tell her. I had to, because you would pop up in the newspaper that we got second place and we took a picture. So I told her. She was upset. I had to call my Bible study teacher to tell him. And then I almost got kicked out of church that time.
And I remember apologizing to his grandmother because I was like, if I would have known that he wasn't supposed to be there.
I knew that I wasn't supposed to be there.
You didn't tell me.
But I knew I was supposed to be there, but I didn't think we would be in the paper.
You didn't think it would be that big of a deal.
Well, I didn't think we'd be in the paper.
Yeah. And so I remember telling her that if I would have known, I wouldn't have done it. I would have stayed home, and then they wouldn't have been able to do it.
And which would have been probably adding more brownie points for you.
Well, which was crazy because she was like, "Oh, I know." She was like, "I know." Which she put full responsibility for that on you.
Yeah, of course, because I knew what I was doing, and like we almost got kicked out. That was the first time that somebody yelled at me in my face at church. They said I had a form of godly devotion, but proved false to its power. And I was like, "All right,
what does that even?"
That means that I was pretending to be, spiritual. And yeah, my grandma was upset at that, and I had to kind of work my way back up into the church. But I still wanted to play music. And I still wanted to play music with them, and we were writing really good music. And later that year, I wrote. I never, because we didn't practice that often, and this we practiced every once in a while.
It was like every 2 weeks. It wasn't.
I mean, for maybe the first month, but there was a couple months, especially when you started up school stuff and.
Oh, when I got to college.
Yeah. Well, no, this was early, right before. So. I remember feeling like I was up against a lot of I don't know, not diversity, but adversity rather is the word I want to say. I was up against a lot of adversity, and with the music playing in the back makes it more dramatic. But I was up against that. I didn't think that Henry's parents thought I was a good musician. I shouldn't be playing with him. That's how I felt.
My mom actually thought that he was the best thing since sliced bread, and
I did not think that. And
she was like, "Oh, he's so good. Oh, he's so talented. Oh, he's so good."
And then I remember I was we were having a practice. I was at work because I worked at Winn-Dixie. We were having a practice. I picked up a magazine, and I was reading about the Deftones because I was really into them, and I was reading about them, and it said we fuss and fight all the time, or we argue all the time, but at the end of the day, we're all homeboys.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to write a song about that.
Let's do it.
And so and it's on YouTube as well. This is on YouTube of us playing it.
Hey, we went all out too.
Yeah.
We made a music video, which I have to say, for people who were 17, 18 at the time, it was good. The quality of it was better than what a lot of adults were putting out at the time.
And that has to do mostly with you. You kind of made it sound like that.
Because I was getting into that tech. I was getting into technology and messing with stuff.
And we had a little demo album before.
Yeah.
And we recorded on Mixcraft.
And we used it was it was one USB microphone.
Well, that for the GarageBand one, whenever we re-recorded it, was that. But I can't remember. We had. No, that was a USB microphone as well.
Yeah.
We used a dynamic mic, but
we would hang it from a fan.
Yeah, you're right. And so
we got creative with that.
We recorded it, and then we were like, let's re-record it and re-record it right. And so that's what we ended up doing. We re-recorded it right,
and it was good.
But whenever I had this song, I approached it to the guys. They were feeling it. We did it in one shot. We did our friend Joey was there to film it.
To record it, yeah.
And it meant...
It was love at the first chord.
Yes. And so we're going to play that song.
Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Homeboys by A Modern Myth.
By A Modern Myth. get through the week. Just wanting you around me made it hard to see. As I'm draining empty, I'm draining all I have. Too late for apologies. Now I walk on broken glass. I'm the walking dead, can't sit by your side. I figure loneliness isn't too hard to hide. I'm falling apart, I need a helping hand to help me out of this wasteland. She rings in my ear after it is enough. I've conquered all of my fears. Now I'm proud of what I've become. Simplistic is what my mind shows that I am. A complex here is how I show you what I have. If only these things didn't bother me, then I'd be what people want me to be. But how can you explain to a deaf ear? It doesn't know how to make your point clear. I'm the walking dead, can I sit by your side? I figure loneliness isn't too hard to hide. I'm falling apart, I need a helping hand to help me out of this wasteland.
That was the wrong chord. You doing a good job.
I fucked up the end there.
Yeah, I've never played that on piano. Well, I did.
No, you did.
In the original recording, but I did something way different. But yeah, man, that was one of the hottest songs we had. Like at the time, everybody that heard that song was like, "Dude, this could be like something.
That could be something.
Y'all could be something, dude." But yeah, man,
which felt good.
We had fun times doing that. At a certain point, things had kind of changed. So I went to college, and not long after, Ethan got sick.
Yeah, in late 2012.
Yeah, he got like really sick, which was crazy because like it was like a lot of breathing issues he had.
Yeah, it was originally like it was like a blood clot in his lung, and yeah, it got worse from there.
Yeah, man. And I think that was the time. That was like the time where not I'm not gonna say the time, but it was a time definitely where like especially when he passed away, it was a time where our mortality became all the more real to us. Just because growing up, I'm not gonna say we thought we were invincible, but us dying at no point was on our minds. At least not like that, you know?
Because what had happened, so in 2012, we separated. Like, we weren't playing music as much together. Henry was in college. I didn't go to college. And
We tried.
I tried. Yeah, I tried. But it just, Henry joined another band. And then I was like, maybe I should do the same. I started focusing more on guitar and got kind of away from the vocal aspect of it and started focusing on playing guitar. And Henry joined the band Roaming Signals. I joined Project Kitchen Band, and then we just kind of went our way. And like late that year, Ethan had gotten sick, and then it was at that point it was like us. We would hang out sporadically. Like it just like Henry was really busy. He had a lot going on, and I was moving, and I was becoming. It was a really weird time.
Getting acclimated to the adult world.
Yeah, because at this time, in 2012, I had just turned 20, and Henry was 19, and it was like, all right, we're needing to become adults, and that's just what it was. Like we were just becoming adults, and just got into our own thing, and we were both playing live a lot, so like we just went on and did our separate things. There's one song that we did come back and do together.
Yeah. What was it?
Small Frames.
No.
Oh, we did a couple things, but actually.
Yeah, no. From what I remember, our paths actually did cross quite a bit. Specifically mine and yours.
Yeah,
because I played in PKB for a little bit.
Yeah. In about 2013. Yeah.
And then we had sporadically met to record some stuff.
We recorded.
We did Small Frames at my house.
Yeah.
I did the drums at my house, and by this time I had like a full set of drum mics, preamps, and everything. But then a while after that, even we went to Jack Morrison's place.
Oh, we did that one. We did Don't Matter. Yeah.
Great song. Great track. I will. Excuse me.
We did a version of Soul too.
Soul Permutations, which
that.
was a song that I wrote.
Yeah, so
and like it sounds like something I wrote.
I love that.
It's a great song. But we we did a few things. Any recordings that I have, I will put the link below.
Yes.
So y'all can hear what we were working on.
But I mean, that was, like we had gotten together. We had that one song too. Through the Blinds. And we did Know What I Want as well.
I know what I want.
Yeah, we did that. And that was we had done. Yeah, we did a few different things with that.
I don't remember it. It was
FECB.
Yeah, it was a good little track.
Yeah, I mean it was cool. But like I think, at this point in time, this like when we got to around like 2015, at that time I had started another band, and I had left Project Kitchen Band, and I was like, you know what, I want to get back to what I was doing in A Modern Myth, like that kind of thing. And back up, we did the Sunday School Kids.
Yo,
we did Sunday School Kids with Corey. And
I forgot about that.
We we did that. Actually, yeah, that's a whole story. But we did Sunday School Kids, and then we played some pretty awesome. We did some stuff that I think we wanted to do.
We tried to be experimental. We did not have as great of a foothold on technology as we thought we did.
Yeah, but it was still kind of cool.
It was cool. I remember when our first live shows was at Wall Street Pub.
It was at Hefe Saloon.
Nah, cuz.
Yeah, it was on Wall Street.
What is Hefe Saloon? Oh, yeah, it was on Wall Street. This is a spot on Wall Street. Shut up! So we went play that. We play over there, and I just remember just nothing worked.
Yeah.
The backing track.
Yeah,
the backing tracks wouldn't play like they were supposed to. My MIDI keyboard didn't work the way it was supposed to, and it was a mess.
The second time we played over there, it was way better.
Much better.
We covered Madness
by Muse,
and we covered Hand That Feeds by Nine Inch Nails.
Because I remember for Madness we used the drum backing track.
Yeah.
And I would play the bass part on my synth, with the pitch bend.
Yeah, and Corey played it. He tapped on the bass, and like I did some coloring with guitar.
Yeah, it was cool. And then whenever we got to that last chorus, I have finally seen the light. I need your love. Yeah. I hop on the drums because that's how the song goes.
Yeah.
And at the time, I wasn't using no in-ears. I had no click.
But
I don't know how I stayed with the track, but
it was cool though.
We did it.
I trusted you, and you pulled through, and and we only played a couple shows. I think we tried to do some stuff, but it just never.
It
really
didn't work out.
We played on. AOC. We played on AOC, and we've never seen that because the audio is fucked up.
It was very bad.
Yeah, the audio is fucked up. So I'd never seen it.
A matter of fact, I played on AOC once before with another group.
With Roaming Signal.
The audio was also bad on that.
Because I'm a two-street lover, baby. I love that song. I love that song. That
band was cool. I enjoyed playing in it.
What a live band.
I felt like our music was a little one-dimensional.
Really?
Yes. No offense to anybody in that group. It's just what we were doing at the time. The music was cool. It was fun to play, and we was drawing big crowds.
And like, shout out to Jared Price. That he could command a crowd.
Jared, yeah.
And
he had mind control over Debo.
It was crazy. It was such a great live show that I was like, I don't know if I want to keep playing live anymore.
We had such chemistry. But
it was so good.
But here's the thing, and you probably never know this. The chemistry, there was never a point where the chemistry in that group, to me, felt organic.
Really? It felt like you were like a session player?
Kind of. And it also just kind of felt like we was just showing off on stage. Because the shit we did on stage was not the shit we did at rehearsal. My thing has always been like, I'm going to put on a show. I'm going to do my thing.
Jesse had the 2 saxes.
Jesse did that thing with them 2 saxes, which if you play saxophone, that's way easier than people think it is. But it's super impressive to people that don't play sax.
To the fact that almost 12 years later that I can remember
because they're like, man, that man playing 2 saxophones. And I'm like, yeah,
it was so cool.
Shit was crazy. So that just kind of gets us closer to where we at today. I joined a band called VHS after that, which was like a baby snarky puppy. We was hot though.
It was good.
Nice crowd. Around that same time, you started Mayrunner.
Mayrunner late 2014. Yeah.
And a year or 2 after that, I started New Natives Brass Band, and I started doing that pretty much full time.
And I don't know if you remember this. I don't think you do. Do you remember how that name came to be?
What?
New Natives.
Oh.
Okay. So we were in your college dorm whenever we were whenever we stayed at Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
We were in your college dorm. We were thinking about starting a new project.
Oh, yeah.
And you were telling me, we were like, there has to be a there has to be a band, like our band name has to have the word new in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, I cannot think of
It
anything.
It was on a list of names that I'd already like written.
Yeah, and because I think maybe that's probably why you brought it up.
Yeah.
And I think you had brought up New Natives, but at the time I was like, I'm not feeling this. And then here's another thing. So you said I'm not feeling this, but I was like, I'm not feeling it. I want something to have the name May in it because it was such a pivotal moment. Like it was the month we started the band. It's the first month of summer. Like it's the thing. So I was like, I want something in May. And then you said the Sleepless May. And then I remember this perfectly. You said the Sleepless May, and I was just like, oh, I like that. And then we came up with the name Afternoon Giants.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, we came up with Afternoon Giants.
That sounds cool.
Which, here's the thing. So I have a band called May Runner. When we were coming up with the name, I wanted to call the band Sleepless May because May meant so much to me. And right around the time we were calling it Sleepless May, they weren't feeling it because, like, whenever you're like, hey, well, how do you like this name? And they agreed to it, but later on they're like, I'm not really feeling it. And so it went on to be like, I wanted the word May in there, and we came up with the connection May Runner. So in the time of the conversation, he brings up New Natives. We come up with Sleepless May, then do something else, and then separate. He forms New Natives. I form May Runner. And off the same idea, and then May Runner has an EP later on called Among Giants, which was based off of Afternoon Giants. So,
and I think the cool thing about all of that is that we've done so much separately in the scene that we are now at a point where we able to reach out to each other and provide each other with these opportunities. Like sometimes I'll do a gig and be like, man, I want y'all on this one.
Yeah.
And like some of the best shows I've had.
Yeah, like
New Natives have been with May Runner.
It's been awesome.
It's crazy because like you would think that a crowd that likes alt rock, heavier rock music wouldn't really care for brass band shit.
It's the energy that they love.
It's the energy that they love, but also at a certain point, I'd always envisioned having a brass band that was also like a metal group. And earlier in our career, we definitely we had a heavy sound, crazy stage presence. Like at the time, there was no band that could fuck with us on stage presence because like we was tearing shit up. At a certain point, there were certain places that were like, yeah, y'all can't come back over here.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm talking about jumping off tables, standing on stuff, breaking shit. Hey, it was what I felt like we needed to do at the time. Now that I'm older and bigger,
it's hard to do shit like that.
Can't do the same shit you used to do. So where do we go from here? Well, the music just has to be good.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. And then you give I think what a lot of people miss now is giving a stage presence that is authentic instead of putting on the show that you think people want to see.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of opinions, and I know we're gonna put this out, and some people are gonna watch this. But I have a lot of opinions on that, and I think people have a tendency to act like they don't care when they play, and they think it's kind of lame to interact with the audience. And I'm like,
but you have to.
But you have to. I don't understand that sense of irony. And
you have to bring people in.
And what was crazy is like, kind of bringing it back to us in a Modern Myth before, like we played a couple talent shows and we thought we were going to kill it. And I remember we played a talent show and the first one we did, and it wasn't great. And we didn't know why. And it was because we didn't have any energy. And we went and we practiced really hard. We ended up practicing so hard that we put a drum section in one of our songs.
Oh yeah, like a whole drum break.
A whole drum break.
Everybody had a drum.
Yeah, and like
it was sick.
It was awesome, and that was just something that was like, all right, we need to build up our.
I stole that idea from 311.
I know,
and Mute Math used to do that too.
Yeah, Mute Math did that, and I loved that. I was like, that's so cool, and that's what actually got us. We won the second talent show. Well, it wasn't complete, but we got like second place in the second talent show we played at. And I mean, we were relatively young. I mean, like
we had grown men mad.
Yeah,
like very upset.
Yeah, we had grown men very upset. But it was so awesome to be able to have that moment. And now it's like it's almost looked at as cheesy to be able to interact with the crowd, but it's like how else do you form a connection? Or don't you want people to have a connection to your music? And especially if you're doing the type of music that I'm doing, where like I'm very focused on the lyrical aspect of it, and as well as like how does the emotion come through? And same thing with doing brass band shit is like that's emotion.
How do I build trust through music on the stage?
Right.
People don't give a shit about what you're doing if they don't trust you.
Yes.
And people will never trust you if you don't show them that you care about them.
Right.
I'm not gonna do nothing for you if I don't think you care about me.
That's right.
And it's the same with crowds. If you are not giving a crowd authentic energy and like letting them know you appreciate them being there, whether it be through playing fire songs, playing what they ask for, talking to them, being amongst them, type things, you never gonna bring them in, and you to a certain point are doomed to a certain fate where you get stuck in like this performative purgatory.
Yeah. It's. I was always so scared.
Why is it not working? Because I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah, I was always so scared at first because I was afraid to like open up and be myself. But I remember when I started doing that, as whenever I saw like people like react. And that's the thing, is that you start to realize the only people that think that shit is lame is the bands that aren't doing that. Yeah. Like the bands that aren't doing stuff like that. They think it's lame. And then I learned a lot from this, stage performance, watching a shit ton of like, documentaries or live concert performances or whatever, but also like the stuff you would show me and then kind of back and forth. I think it's such a big deal. I think it's such a part of the performance, because if I'm like the way that we started versus the way that we are now, we made everything so much more simple.
Yes.
Like everything is so stripped back. It's about the power. And I played a gig with New Natives once, and I was like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like I got in there, I played snare, and like I remember just like getting in, it was like a whirlwind.
I remember pushing you and just being like, go.
And go. I was like, what?
I was like, go, play.
Pushes me, and I was like, oh, okay.
And like he was trying to play the drum. I'm like, nigga, play.
I just started.
I almost threw my drumstick at you, like, play.
Well, I started going because I remember they gave us a solo. Like everybody got a solo.
And I remember I kept telling you like louder.
And I said shit. And I started like doing whatever. And I was just like, oh fuck. And then we got out there. Everybody was vibing.
Like
lit. We get out of the thing, and I was like, what the hell just happened? we went in and left. I was like, what the hell just happened?
See, that was one of my favorite. That's always been one of my favorite things about New Natives gigs that aren't on stage but they're weddings.
Yeah.
You get that opportunity to directly interact with the crowd, and like they swamp you.
They swamp you.
They get all
and this was a black wedding.
They touch you. They smell you.
Yeah, this was a black wedding, so everyone was like, there was so much energy. And so like having the energy of everybody around you, and then they're all like,
people be like pushing you and shit, like,
but it's like, oh, this is like the energy in that room. They were already lit. So like the energy was like crazy. And like we get pushed into this environment, and
it's in and out.
It's in and out. It was so
baby. Intercourse.
It was in and out, and it's the best experience you ever had. And I just was like, I was so thrown off by like everything. I remember people like his band coming up to me and telling me I did a good job, and everybody was like really, supportive. And I was like, I don't even remember what happened.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because he's also like,
I was like fucking shaking.
And like, me and the rest of the guys are just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they're like, dude, good job, man.
This is what we do.
Yeah, good job, dude. Yeah, thank you for coming and filling the spot. And I was like, what? Like,
but it's crazy. He's always felt this way about New Natives. At the same time, I've always wanted to start a group like May Runner that was more intimate and more from the heart, more me, right? Because New Natives, to a certain extent, yes, for all intents and purposes, I am the front man. Yo!
That was awesome.
Whoa! I apologize for that. iOS on some crazy.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, man.
You're the front man of New Native.
For all intents and purposes, but it was a role, excuse me, that I had to play out of necessity, not necessarily out of want. When we first started, I tried to make it to where the responsibility was shared, but then you learn that this is not me necessarily putting anybody down, but when it comes to being that face, sometimes people end up being, as a whole, somewhat unreliable, not able to actually put on that face that they need to. And it's about bringing the crowd in and showing them like, man, look, this is what we do. We about to turn this bitch up. They need to feel that energy before you play your first note. And that's something we worked at for years. And I want Devric to do one of my favorite songs by Mayrunner. Just so y'all can kind of see what I'm talking about, that intimacy and that closeness when it comes to like songwriting. He's always been a stronger singer, songwriter than I have. My strengths come in arranging, the production side of things, and I play the drums. And I play a lot of other stuff too, but it's just about finding those people, especially in your formative years, that nurture that talent and just kind of nurture what you do and help you out. And I'm thankful for the bonds that I've formed so far, and the relationships that I've built, because your experiences and the people the people you associate with make you who you are to a certain extent.
Introduce you to things you would have never been
introduced to, So with that being said, let's do another song. Well, yeah, you gonna do another song.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I'm gonna play the song "Slow Burn."
Slow Burn. I love that name.
This is off of our EP "Among Giants." It's the first real track on that. This song also. What? No. Yeah, this song I'm gonna dedicate to my boy Ethan Milliman.
Ethan Milliman. All right, Slow Burn, ladies and gentlemen.
To relieve, no defeat, no room to feeling, savoring the slowest heat, another feed. I hope you feel it, yeah. Do you want love? Do you want more? Do you? When you wake up, do you feel numb? Do you hold on? Do you know how? Do you break down? Do you sleep in? Do you? Show me, just let me feel some relief. I wanna feel it. I'll let it go. I want some more. I'll shut it off. Just let me feel it. Yeah, yeah. Do you want love? Do you want more? Do you? When you wake up, do you There you have it, folks.
My God.
Had me hitting high notes in this bitch. My God.
That, ladies and gentlemen, Slow Burn by the band Mayrunner. It's available
on Spotify,
streaming
platforms everywhere. Quick note: I had dedicated that song to our very, very, very good friend Ethan Milliman. Ethan passed away in 2015. Still don't quite know what it was, but passed away, and he's left a big old hole in our existence that we've been trying to come together and fill. But there is a
big gaping hole. he would find that.
He would find that to be hilarious. Man, that's fun. But fun fact about that song, and it still plays true to this day. Ethan's cousin Henry Milliman plays bass on that song, and he's been the bass player of Mayrunner since. But yeah, that is we were talking earlier about the idea of mortality and the idea of like feeling invincible and the idea of when things start to become real, when people which we knew people that passed away at a young age. We had 2 people that we knew from high school that passed away fairly young, which I wrote a song about them. And that was like the first, like, man, we're late teens, early 20s, and people were passing away. But when Ethan passed, it hit real close to home for both of us. And I think from that, what Ethan gave to me as a player was just a different perspective. What he gave to Henry as a player was again, just like, that different perspective. It gave us a sense of community. It gave us a sense of bonding. I've definitely been in bands since that have had, that closeness, but that was like, that was different. This is a different thing. And we were very, very close. And it's hard to come across bands like that you feel as close to, but we were super close and made a bunch of stupid jokes that I'm just thinking about right now. But yeah, Ethan, like it left a hole that can't be filled. But it was, I think from now we've been definitely playing music almost in his memory.
Yeah, and one thing too that we can kind of take away from all of this is that sometimes the end is not truly the end. Because there were times where we both, after Ethan passed away, considered quitting. And not doing music anymore. Because we all felt like the only people we supposed to make music with is each other.
Yeah.
And it was hard to find another bass player that did what Ethan did. Because Ethan, would I say Ethan was good? Yes. Would I say Ethan was a great bass player? No. And he knew that. But what Ethan was good at was playing his role and doing what he was supposed to do as a bass player, which in a sense was great for me because it created a palette for me.
Yes.
That he never got in my way.
Yeah. It's crazy because I'm thinking about that album that we had done. It's called Square One. We should probably put on streaming platform.
I got a copy of that somewhere.
Yeah, me too. But Square One, we put that out on like maybe 4 of the 10 tracks or 10 or 11 tracks that we had done. It
was 13.
So we did 13 tracks, and like maybe 4 or 5 of them, I played bass on it because Ethan had a really hard time recording, and
click will get you every time.
And he eventually got it, but I ended up.
It was just like, man, let me do it.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do it quicker.
And he never got mad.
No, and a lot of those bass lines were bass lines that I wrote, and he played them. But like, I think through time, which he helped me be a better composer that way, because I remember, I'll never forget this, and this actually comes into Homeboys, is he's like, we were writing stuff, and like everything I was doing was real simple, and he ended up saying like, bro, give me something hard to play. I was like, I got you. I got you, motherfucker. Okay. So I came up with a more difficult bass line for Homeboys. for him. And then eventually he just came and did his own thing. Like, you know, he started writing his own stuff. But like, it was a very, you know, he was really good at.
It was consistent.
It was consistent. He was really good at taking direction. He was really good at not letting an ego get in the way, which you'll find in bands that you play in, because some people are just like not about the whole of the music; they're about themselves.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yes. It's never about like, you know, let the person who's stronger at this do that. And what was crazy is like in that band, me and Henry were like the more creative force in what was going on. And like I felt like Henry's ideas were always different than mine, but I liked how different he got. So I'm like, oh yeah, let's do this and let's take it in this direction. And kind of makes me want to play another song.
You got another song you want to do?
I think I got another song.
What you got?
I'm debating on whether or not I should play the first song we ever wrote or the second song we ever wrote.
Which was the first?
First one was what was the name of that song? With Reassurance. With Assurance. With Assurance.
How did that go?
It was D, C add 9, D says 4, C add 9, and G.
D.
Then C add 9. And then G. Yep.
Let's do it.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right. Let me tune it a bit.
This will probably be our last song for the night. I just want to thank everybody for watching. We're gonna keep doing this. And I'm definitely gonna have Mr. Devric Taylor back on for another episode. Tonight's episode has been about nostalgia and some of our formative influences, some of the things that made us the people and the musicians that we are today.
Check out May Runner on Spotify. Check out New Natives on Spotify too.
Yeah,
kind of. And Instagram. What's yours?
At New Natives Brass.
Mine is at we_r_May Runner. So
all right, here we go with Assurance. Oh yeah, I remember.
Refuse to hide. I reform tonight. I get to shine inside my eyes for the vicious look. To find it, I must give what I took to bring the show down all off the feet. No remorse, I sold effort to the feet. Revise the steps to show what you are. Hypocrite, is it a word that won't get you far? A mother to me. Save me, yeah, save me. 2 times I'm gone. Hold on, yeah, hold on. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what it. That's what's up.
That's what it is. And that's also why when we first started, we were labeled as a country band, alt country.
Also, yes, alt country band, and I never picked up that fact until much because I thought we were like an alt, like an just an alt band. Like I was like, oh no, we're not a country band whatsoever. And then we got a song that sounds like this.
Chicken picking.
Yeah, and then this.
Also, we were purists to a point. We didn't like using effects.
No. Oh yeah. Dude.
Any effects that we did get, we tried to achieve them organically. So if we wanted distortion, crank that amp, bitch.
Crank the amp up.
We destroyed amps.
Yep. I played through a keyboard amp. Very
destroyed
early on.
that.
But I mean, yeah, it was. We were an alt country band kinda, and we did real cool stuff. And I missed a lot of that. We had a bunch of songs. I forget some of the songs that we end up having, but like whenever Henry was like, "Oh, I'm doing this podcast. I want you to get on it. We're going to talk about a lot of like our history." And so I was like, I'm going to go listen to some of the old stuff. And there was a song that came across that I totally forgot we had, and I was like, I remember. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember somebody was like, "No, you guys can't play that song." And it like listen back to it, it's like it's such a tame song. It was a song we had called "Jesus Lady."
How would I forget that song?
I
didn't see it as being tame.
There was. Remember what was that? That girl that you were talking to. That was like we played it to her. She's from Ohio. We played it to her, and
oh my god,
yeah.
Mary, big shouts out to Mary.
Big shout out to Mary. we
big shouts to Mary Torres.
That was what I was saying. Yeah. They're gonna be all good. we played that song, and she was like, "This is sacrilegious." I was like,
"You don't even know what it's about.
You don't even know what it's about.
You even listen to the song."
Yeah, like, and the song was about this lady that I'd seen that worked at the grocery store.
And she was just a super religious lady.
Super religious.
She was the Jesus lady.
Yeah. So that was that, and like we had a bunch of songs that I just like. Man, this was a pretty good song. Or I went back and I found old lyric books, and I'm just like, like
we had something going on.
Yeah, for being as young as we were touching on something, and like I think that band's existence was the perfect length of time.
Yes.
I would have loved to get another album out, but I think that our influences were starting to drift away, apart, and like it wasn't going to be the vibe of that band anymore.
I think the reality of it is understanding that many things are meant to last for a season.
Yeah.
Most things are not permanent. And I think it's important to, as you grow and as you get older, it's important to embrace sort of the change and be okay with the change, because you never know how well things will turn out for you in the end.
Right.
So, so with that being said, man, we're gonna have to do a part 2 on this one, man.
Yeah,
we got to do a part 2 on this one.
There's so much history in, like, not only a history of where we came from, but a history of where we're at now. And because those things have their own stories as well.
Yes.
And this one just covers the part that we were a part of together.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're pretty much out of time, but I again want to thank you all for tuning in to the first episode of Fast Forward Future. There will be more episodes coming in the future. And once again, I thank y'all for tuning in. Please share, subscribe, do whatever you do to follow a podcast. I really appreciate it. Any feedback, any constructive criticism is very welcome. Once again, I've been Henry Holmes, and this has been Devric Taylor. And this has been Fast Forward Future. And I'm going to tell y'all what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to take that, put that in your tape deck, and play it.
That's right.
Y'all have a good night.